Today I'll be reviewing the TMA-2 HD Wireless headphones from AIAIAI, which I've been using for about a month or so now. I'll start with an overview of the key features, and then I'll move on and give my thoughts in the following categories: out of the box and setup, sound quality and isolation, comfort, wireless functionality, including ease of use, battery life and charging time, modularity, and then I'll finish off with a summary. There's also a disclaimer in the description about how this review came about. So let's have a look at what came in the box. Now, I did film a really nice unboxing sequence, got everything out in a lovely order, but then managed to wipe the SD card in typical John fashion. So let's have a look at what we did get. All of it is modular, so they came separately. So we've got the speaker units, the SO5, the ear pads, the EO8, which are memory foam. We had the headband, which is the Bluetooth wireless headband, and we also had the C15 cable. Also, you get a little user guide, which is really handy with the setup, and a USB A to C cable to charge the headband. The initial setup and assembly was really simple. I'm confident that I could take these apart and replace any of the individual parts within 60 seconds or less. It's super simple. The initial pairing of a device with the Bluetooth headband was also really easy. The headband comes with some charge in it, which I really like. You hold the middle button to turn the headband on, and then the LED blinks. While that's blinking, it's discoverable as a device. You just go onto your phone or whatever you're connecting it to, and these will show up, click on it, and you're done. Really, really simple. When it came to the sound quality of the TMA-2 HDs, I wasn't really expecting anything earth-shattering, to be honest. I've got DT-770s by Beyerdynamic that I've been using for about 5 years now that I really, really like. So I was expecting maybe to be able to use these recreationally, for travel, etc., because of the wireless convenience. But I was still expecting to have to use my DT-770s for serious audio, for mixing and things like that. So the first time I listened to music through these, I was absolutely blown away. It gave me this experience with music that I haven't had for a long time, which was just total immersion. I put some songs on that I really liked and just got completely absorbed and was just truly blown away with the sound quality. The manufacturer claims that the SO5 speaker units that are in this TMA-2 HD configuration are very detailed, and I can absolutely attest to that. So the clarity and depth really, really stood out to me. And I know those might sound like wishy-washy terms, but this really was noticeable when listening through these headphones. By comparison, about a year ago, I bought a pair of wireless headphones from a different brand, about half the price of the TMA-2 HDs, with the intention of using them for work. So when I was editing voiceovers, immediately it became clear that they didn't have good enough sound quality to function as my work headphones, so I ended up sending them back. The TMA-2 HDs, however, have now become my work headphones, which I really wasn't expecting, in total truth, and I've had absolutely no issues from them. The accuracy is fantastic with them. In terms of isolation, they don't have any active noise cancelling. However, once you've got them on, especially with the earpads that I have, which are the EO5s, the memory foam ones, once you've got them on and once you've got something playing, you really can't hear much else, and I really like that. I'm definitely getting more isolation from the TMA-2 HDs than I do with my Beyerdynamic DT-770s. However, there's not quite as much isolation with the TMA-2 HDs as there is with the Shure SE215s, which are a pair of in-ear headphones that I sometimes use for train journeys and things like that, but still a really good level of isolation. So to summarize, I was genuinely shocked at how good these headphones sound in terms of sound quality, detail, clarity, and depth. And the isolation is absolutely fantastic for 95% of the scenarios that you'll find yourself in. It's going to cut out the background really nicely. Now let's talk about the comfort of these headphones, which is really important if you're wearing them in the studio or for DJ sets for a long period of time. I've been really, really impressed with how comfortable these are. The cushions, which are total memory foam, I find really, really comfortable, and they have great isolation as well. The headband is soft up at the top here, comparing them to the DT770s, which is an incredibly high bar to set, these are the most comfortable headphones I've ever used. The TMA-2 HDs compare really, really well. The ear pads, I would say, compare like for like. I think they're both incredibly comfortable. The headband on the TMA-2s, after maybe using them for over an hour, you can feel the headband a little bit more on the TMA-2s than you can on the DT770s, which, as I say, is a really high bar to set. But aside from that, they are pretty much like for like in terms of being incredibly comfortable headphones to use. There is a different headband that you can buy from AIAIAI, which is more focused towards comfort, but that won't be a wireless headband. The headband that I have here is more focused towards wireless audio quality. That's the main selling point of this headband, and considering that, it's still incredibly comfortable. Let's talk about the wireless function of these headphones. We're going to start with how easy they are to use and pair with devices and things like that. So when you turn the headphones on, which you do by pressing and holding the middle button, what you can do is hold down the top and bottom button until this light starts blinking. Let's see if it's going to do it for us now. There we go. So that light's blinking. That means that I can now pair these to any device. So I could do that to my Mac laptop here, or I could do it to a different phone, iPad, whatever. That's really, really convenient. You don't have to be sort of menu diving or doing anything like that. And that was a sort of surprisingly nice ease of use feature. How far away from your device can you be with these headphones still working? Well, depending on the walls and whatnot in your house or the building you're in, I was able to walk from here in my living room, round the corner, through the kitchen and into the hallway, which is probably 8 to 10 meters away, and I was still getting really good signal. Once I got through to the bedroom, which is probably 12 to 14 meters away, I was starting to get some dropouts, and that does go through sort of several walls. So you can get a good distance away. You're not going to be sort of standing up from the table, walking 3 or 4 paces and losing connection, but you're not going to be able to listen to them from the other side of your house, which I think is understandable. I was impressed with the range that I got here. Moving on to the battery life. So the manufacturer claims that you can get 16 hours of playback from a single charge, and that once the headphones have died, you can charge them back up completely in 2 hours. So I put my audio engineering hat on and came up with a highly technical test to see whether these met the specifications. Yep, I left that video playing for the whole 10 hours and the low battery LED indicator didn't even come on. So I needed a new video.
If I take one more step, it'll be the farthest away from home I've ever been.
Astonishingly, I got 17.5 hours of audio playback from these headphones on a full charge, which is fantastic. The low battery LED indicator, which is this LED flashing red every 10 seconds, that happened for the last 3 hours of the audio playback, and eventually the headphones turned off. But I say 17.5 hours as opposed to what the manufacturer states, which is 16, was a really good effort. Once I reached this point, I put the headphones back on charge using the included USB A to C cable, and it took 2.5 hours to get back up to full charge, which isn't bad considering you get 17.5 hours of playback from these headphones. Another thing to mention in terms of battery is that there is an auto off feature. So after 10 minutes of nothing being played through the headphones will turn off, which is great in terms of battery life. You're not going to sort of put them down on your desk, forget to turn them off, walk away, and come back the next day to a drained battery. That's a really cool feature. And now we come on to my only grievance with these headphones, and it's just a small one, but it's definitely worth pointing out. You're able to receive phone calls using these headphones because there's a built-in microphone on them. So when you get a phone call, when the headphones are paired to your phone, you press the middle button, really easy, that answers the call, and you're talking. Great. You can hear the other person nice and clearly, they can hear you nice and clearly, but the issue is the other person at the other end gets an echo of themselves. Now, this could well be user error. I might be doing something wrong. There might be something in the setup, but I've tried this with 2 different HO5 headbands and had the same thing. I've called different people and they've all said, I'm hearing myself back and it's really distracting. I've tested this out and I've been the person on the other end of the phone, and it's really not particularly nice. If you get into talking in a sentence, it sort of loops back on itself and the echo is too distracting really to hold a conversation. If I find out that I'm doing something wrong, which is more than possible, then I will post in the comments down below what the solution is for that. Hopefully it is user error, but if not, then that's, as I say, my only grievance with these so far fantastic headphones. Finally, we come on to modularity. So the fact that these are completely modular headphones and you can swap out any individual part is really, really handy. It's really simple to do. The earpads come off nice and easily. You can unplug the speaker cones really easily, and then they just come off. So there we go, we've disassembled that side really simply, so you could put new speaker cones on, you could put new ear pads on, you could put a new headband on within 60 seconds, as I say, which is a really cool feature for a few reasons. Number one, you might want a different configuration. So if you're a DJ, you're not going to want these massive ear pads to DJ with. They do smaller ones which are more suited to that. And also there's a different headband, which is designed slightly differently so that you can bend it. There's a video on their website where you can bend it all the way out and twist it completely all the way around and it doesn't snap. So as an example, if you were a DJ producer, you may want the more detailed and more comfort sort of based configuration for when you're making music in the studio. And then when you go out to DJ, you might want to swap the headband out or swap the ear pads out or something like that so that you don't get your studio ones sweaty. And it means that you don't need to buy 2 different pairs of headphones to do that, which I think is a really cool feature. Secondly, from a sustainability perspective, this is really cool because you're not buying a new set of headphones if the headband breaks. If the headband breaks, you replace the headband. If the cable breaks, you replace the cable. It's not like a lot of other headphones where if one part of them goes, you're throwing away a whole pair of headphones and you're buying a new set. This is really cool from a cost-saving perspective and also, as I say, from a sustainability and environmental perspective as well. So to summarize, these headphones sound absolutely incredible. And that's the main thing that you want with a pair of headphones, is for them to sound good, obviously. They're incredibly easy to use in terms of the wireless functionality, the pairing, etc. They're incredibly comfortable. So even for long listening periods, I found them a joy to have on. And also the modularity is a really cool feature in terms of sustainability and saving you money on replacing headphones over time, especially if you're a DJ going out to gigs and they're getting bashed around in a bag. There's no denying that these are an expensive pair of headphones. I'll put the current prices up on screen for you now. And to be totally honest with you, if I saw these in a shop and hadn't listened to them or used them, I'd probably be hesitant about paying that amount of money for a pair of headphones. However, now that I've used them and heard them, I think I would really struggle to take them back, and I would absolutely say that the cost is justified in the detail and clarity and comfort that you get from these headphones. So the issue with phone calls is a little bit of a shame. That's a nice feature to have in wireless headphones, but it's certainly not a deal breaker. And if that is important to you, then have a look at the cables that you can get, as I mentioned, because you can get those with microphones for any phone. So that could be a really good workaround. So let me know if you have any questions about these headphones, and also let me know if you want them compared to another set of headphones directly. I've sort of spoken about the DT770s quite a bit, but if you want a direct comparison of what I think of these versus another pair of wireless headphones in a similar price category, then let me know. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your time, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.